All right, future CPA. So here's the thing. Most people assume that to become a CPA, you have to do public accounting. And I'm here to tell you that this is 100% a myth. And to help me prove this is my buddy Amanda. So she just passed a CPA exam. She's a big time Cardinals fan from the same city that I'm from. It's pretty awesome. And she just passed the CPA exam, and she's a member of Ultimate CPA Exam Guide. And so it's really cool to hear from Amanda about the benefits outside of public accounting that accountants can have by passing the CPA exam, and why it's the most valuable business license that you can attain, and how it's going to transform your career if you play your cards right. So listen in, tune in as Amanda shares her story to passing the CPA exam and how it's going to change her career. My name is Brian Kessler, and I help smart accountants pass the CPA exam no matter how busy they are. My ultimate goal is to get you from stressed to performing at your best, no matter what CPA review course you're using. Welcome to the CPA Exam Guide podcast. All right, future CPA. So I'm here with my fellow St. Louisan, that's dumb. Are you a Cardinals fan? Let's go with that.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. All right, future CPA. So I'm here with my fellow Cardinals fan, Amanda, and she just passed the CPA exam, and she is excited to share her story with us today. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you.
So, the first thing I always ask is, where were you, who were you with, and who did you freak out when you checked your scores and found out that you would pass your final section?
So it was in November, and actually my husband and I were kind of living in separate areas of the house because he actually had COVID.
Oh, no.
So he was quarantining, but he was basically just being careful, and we wasn't sure if we had it or not. But I still wanted him to come and look at the score with me as he did the first 3 times. So I didn't want to break that tradition. So he came up with gloves on and, mask on, and we both have masks on. And I opened my score in my laptop and just totally started freaking out, screaming. Didn't get to hug, though. We didn't hug. But,
just a lot of air high fives.
Yep. And then popped a bottle of champagne.
Oh, that's so much fun. That's really cool. So tell us a little bit about your journey. When did you decide to become a CPA? Was there a reason behind it? I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I graduated college in 2018 and actually got engaged the summer after I graduated. So my original plan was to start studying right when I graduated, but the wedding kind of got in the way, and I didn't want to study while I was planning for a wedding. So got married in 2019, and that's when I decided to really start buckling down and start studying for the CPA. And I started in January 2020 studying, and that's when I found you. And yeah, so I started studying in January, took my first test in May, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. So can you share a little bit about the field that you're in? Are you in public accounting, private?
So I'm in forensic accounting, and so it's kind of different than your normal accounting field. Yeah, it's really interesting. Do something different every day. We don't do audit. We don't do tax. So yeah, I really enjoy being in something different, and forensic accounting definitely keeps you on your toes. So I love it.
Yeah. So for anyone who's listening that, maybe they're getting burned out with audit or tax, obviously getting your CPA is going to be important in those fields, but do you see in the forensic side, is CPA the most popular license to have?
Absolutely. Yep. Still in forensic accounting, and they definitely want you to have your CPA. When I started working at this firm, they definitely encouraged me to get my CPA as soon as possible. And in the field, I do see a lot of, we look at financial statements. So when studying for accounting, I did see a lot of that stuff in my work, also with tax too, because we look at tax returns. So yeah, it definitely helped out a lot. I think it's very beneficial even in my field.
Good. Yeah. And I mean, that's true of almost any field. Like the CPA is just a universal license. So anyone on the fence, if you don't know where you're going to end up in your career, getting the CPA is definitely a no-brainer. So it's
Definitely
very
opens a lot of doors.
very
Yep.
difficult, but yes, it's worth it in the long run.
Yep.
For just not only for just having those letters, but also just for the flexibility to be able to move to different industries that interest you and so forth. So that's very cool. So yeah, let's kind of dive into your CPA exam process. So I'm assuming you were working full time while studying, and
I,
so
yes.
kind of walk us through what your day to days study routine kind of looked like.
So I would get up normal time, go to work. I worked 8:30 to 5, maybe a little bit later. Came home, worked out, ate dinner, and then I would start studying maybe about 6:30 until about 10:30 in the evening. So I would study about 4 hours every night during the weekdays, and then on the weekends I would study maybe 6 hours Saturday and Sunday. So I actually did not take a day off of studying, but I did make sure on Saturday and Sunday in the evenings I got my relaxing time, watched Netflix and just, relaxed to get away from the studying for a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's so necessary. Um,
Yes.
that's interesting. So, I mean, it sounds like your schedule is so similar to mine. So I was working about 40 to 45 hours a week, and it was funny because it was like I was in the best shape of my life while studying for the CPA exam because it was just
Wow.
it just was part of the routine. So if you're not somebody who is traveling and stuff, it's definitely nice to be able to get into a solid routine like that. So
Absolutely.
I'm just curious, how many weeks per section on average did you typically give yourself with that level of amount of studying?
About 8.
Okay.
And then yeah, for FAR, I did study for, I think, 12 weeks. And then for audit and reg, about 8 weeks. And then I think for BEC, it was the shortest at about 6 weeks. So,
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right for the amount of hours that you're studying. So obviously it worked out
yep.
pretty good. So that's
Yeah.
great. So obviously you joined a mentorship program. Can you kind of share what that experience was like? What about Ultimate CPA Exam Guide kind of helped you organize your time and so forth? I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah. So before I started studying, I, went on Google and I was like, I typed in how to pass the CPA. And your name, the Ultimate CPA Exam Guide, popped up right away. And I was like, okay, let me look into this, and watched a few of your videos. And I was like, okay, this could really, really help me, because I was very lost on how to even start the process, the whole application process, all of that. It's very stressful. So I was like, okay,
Right.
it'd be nice to have somebody walk me through what to do. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a good investment. So I signed up, watched all your modules, and I felt a ton better. And I felt ready. I felt motivated to get started with the studying because I actually knew how to study now. So I think that's what helped me the most, is giving me a set plan on what I needed to do to pass. And I followed your plan almost to the T. I kind of, made it a little bit flexible for my schedule, but
Sure.
that's what helped me the most. The methods that you suggest, the study loops and the study funnels are, when you think about it, it's a pretty simple concept, but I don't think you really think of that when you're starting to study. You're just like, okay, I'm going to get through the material as quickly as I can, and then at the end I'll, review before I take my test. But
Right.
I think the study loops were definitely key, because you're going back and you're reviewing all the material that you learned to date, and then the funnels just really help you hone in on, what you need to work on before your test. So
Yeah, that was for me. To when I implemented my own version of the study loops way back when, like it was just such a different way to study compared to what I was used to in college. And
yep.
and you can attest to this, but the CPA exam is a completely different beast than anything you would have ever seen in college. Maybe a final exam, an intermediate two or something would have come close,
Yeah.
but it's extremely overwhelming. And when you're studying for the 12 weeks, like you said, what you study in week 2 and 3 and 4, it's going to be so hard to remember by week 10, 11, and 12. And so like Amanda said, that's why you need to constantly be looping back and just touching everything that you've covered. Not detailed review, just kind of touching back, looping, making sure that you're keeping everything in focus, of identifying the areas where you're struggling so that you have a plan when you hit your final review when it's 10 to 14 days before your exam. So that's awesome. I love hearing that it worked so well for you. That's great.
Yeah.
And
now I recommend you to, all my friends that I know are taking the exam. So I definitely think this works a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's something that's so needed in the industry. And I realized how lucky I was when I was studying, because I knew several people who had passed. My dad was a CPA, and so it's just when you're fresh and you have no idea and you're just hitting Google, you have no idea what you're reading, if it's going to be good or bad information. All the free forums out there, you have no idea. So that's why I really wanted to crack the code and see what it's like working with people like yourself, and because everyone learns in a unique way. So it's, just the more people we have in our program, the better I can assess where you're at and then connect you with the right study methods to implement. So that's awesome. So how was it having, we have a private study group, and I always saw your name popping up. How was having a community of other people who are, you don't necessarily know them, they're not coworkers. How was it having a group of people who you could connect with and you understood what you were going through? Hey, future CPA, do you know your CPA exam study personality yet? Head to freecpaquiz.com to discover your study personality and how to study smarter. Take the quiz at freecpaquiz.com.
It was really nice having that feature, having that, Facebook group that I could reach out, ask maybe a simple question about studying, or a specific question I had, but also it was really nice to reach out and ask about, how their experiences were with, a specific exam, what maybe I should look out for. And actually I found a few friends that I could, reach out to every now and then through my whole journey, and reach out, and we would text each other every now and then, being our accountability buddy. And it was really nice just having that community, somebody different to reach out to that understands what you're going through and, what you're studying for. So it was really nice.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that it took me so long, but we just now introduced group tutoring to the private study group. So it was the one thing that was missing from the group, was actually helping people with multiple choice questions and just topics that they're struggling with. So that's actually now part of the private study group. So
I think that would be super helpful.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so. I connected with some really cool people, and they're eager to help CPA candidates. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
So let's see here. So you mentioned accountability partners. I'd love to hear, was there ever a time where you were getting burned out? Because obviously you were studying a lot. You didn't take any days off. Do you have any examples of that where maybe an accountability partner kind of pushed you to keep going forward?
Yeah, I would say my husband was my biggest supporter, my biggest accountability partner. I mean, we live together, so he kind of asked me, but... Buy
that guy a beer.
Yeah. I remember when I was watching your modules in the beginning, he was kind of sitting next to me. We were both in the living room, and he heard about when you were talking about, outsourcing your laundry, your meals, all of that. And he's like, okay, I can do that for you. And he really, really took that over for me. He made sure the food was done when I got home from work so I could eat right away and then study right away. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to him, because that was awesome. That really helped me a lot. But there were a few nights that I would just be totally exhausted and even emotional. I would, kind of get tears in my eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, am I really doing this right? Even when I would get a bad test score, I really get down on myself. But you would tell me it's not the real thing. Even Brian said you might get some bad test scores. That's okay. So yeah, he really picked me up when I was getting down, and even at the end with my last exam, I was really starting to get exhausted and burnt out. And he said, "You're almost there. You just gotta keep pushing yourself. You know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So
Yeah.
so you're doing this for a reason. Just keep going."
What was there any so my girlfriend at the time, she was my accountability partner, and like every week, or at the end of sitting for an exam, we'd like go to a Cardinals game, or like we would have some sort of a goal that I had to achieve in order to go enjoy time together. Did you guys do anything like that?
Yeah. So basically every Saturday night we would, we would set a goal to, have a nice dinner, maybe watch a movie, maybe go on a date somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of, pushed me to make sure that I, checked off everything that I wanted to do for the week. And then, and then after each section, we would, maybe go on a nice date or something, just as a little reward to, as finishing, a section. And then, and then I'd hop right back on studying. So yeah, I would give myself maybe little rewards every now and then to, help me keep going.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, anyone who's listening, you have to remember with the CPA exam that, it's going to be overwhelming, no doubt. Like there's no escaping that, but it's temporary. And just, like Amanda's sharing, like if you just get into a good routine, you just stick to a proven study method, it's all going to be over before you know it. And then
Right.
you'll have your life back, and you'll be able to have that flexibility again. So
It actually went by so quick. Like I can't believe it how quick it went by. I was like, wow, this is already over.
right. Well, when every day feels like it's about the same, that's kind of how it goes. So that's
And
awesome.
it's crazy because, I do want to, like, COVID is, such, it sucks, but like also it kind of helped me because there wasn't anything to do outside. So, that would make me
Right.
stay in, study more. So
Yeah. Well, and now you're coming out of all this craziness ahead. So that was the right thing to do, because I try to tell people. A lot of people are just kind of sitting on their hands, being like, oh, should I wait, or should I go for it now? And I try to tell people, even though it feels weird right now, and especially folks with kids who are trying to do remote learning and all that stuff, like it's challenging, but if you don't start now, then it's just going to be that much harder the longer you wait. So I'm super proud of you for getting it done during a crazy time to be alive.
yeah.
Let's see here. So I mean, this has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed you sharing your story. Was there anything else for that you wanted to share with for the struggling CPA candidates out there? Any other thoughts that you wanted to share?
Just try and stay as positive as you can. I know you'll probably have some moments where you get down on yourself, but make sure you have that accountability partner to pick you back up, and don't be afraid to reach out, to the group or to Brian for help, because they're so nice. Their team is so awesome. They'll, give you a little pep talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just make sure you also get in that routine. It helps so much.
Good. All right, Amanda. Well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Hey, future CPA, thank you so much for listening in on my amazing interview here, and I hope that you're inspired, I hope you're motivated, and I hope that you are somebody who understands the value of having a CPA exam mentor. And if you're somebody who doesn't have one, if you're struggling with the CPA exam, then you are definitely a good fit to work with me to understand and learn how to pass the CPA exam and learn all those soft skills that the CPA review course companies and college just didn't prepare you for. And so the simplest way to determine if you're a good fit to work with me is to head over to mycpamentor.com. So basically, I've got the page pulled up here on the screen, and it's a simple application. Just answer a few questions. Once you submit the application, then we'll provide you with some tailored advice on what we think you need to be doing to improve in your situation. And then if you're a good fit for our mentorship program, we'll let you know. And if you're a good fit, then the next step will be to head over to our informational page. So basically, what is Ultimate CPA Exam Guide? How is this mentorship program going to help you? Is it right for you? And all those nitty-gritty details. So basically, At a high level, Ultimate CPA Exam Guide is for brand new and struggling CPA candidates alike. It's going to give you the blueprint to go from hoping that you're doing this right to knowing that you are. And then the way that we do this is through three primary ways. So there's going to be some online training modules. So this is going to be pre-recorded videos that I've put together that will teach you everything I know about passing the CPA exam. And so basically this is just a one-time thing. You go through it, understand my philosophies, have the study checklists, the planners, and everything ready to go. And then you can dive into the CPA exam process with confidence, knowing that you're doing everything that you need to do. And then on top of that, we also provide some personalized support. So these are snapshot mentorship sessions. So basically this is a very in-depth questionnaire that you fill out, and then based on what you share about your current situation, then I'll put together videos, send them right to you, addressing each and every struggle that you currently have. And then we also have this amazing private community with over 1,000 CPA candidates in there. And as you heard from the interview, having a community of CPA candidates who isn't a coworker, who isn't a college roommate, it's crucial to your success, because you want to have a safe place to go to ask those questions that you might feel dumb for asking, but then will have no judgment because everyone's in the same shoes. You'll be guaranteed to be able to find somebody using your CPA review course, somebody who's in your industry and is experiencing exactly what you're going through. So if you're a single mom with kids trying to figure out how to pass this exam, there's going to be a group of gals there to help you. If you're a dad working full-time with a family and kids and just trying to juggle a bunch of knives, essentially, there's going to be a group of those dads as well who are there to support you. So again, having community is crucial. You don't want to do this alone, and having a mentor to teach you how to study is going to be crucial to your success. So what kind of guarantees do we have? Well, basically, you're going to receive unlimited mentorship support until you pass if you enroll in Ultimate CPA Exam Guide. We also have a 30-day guarantee that we will transform you from a struggling CPA candidate to somebody who is confident in their ability to pass, or your money back. So we take your success very seriously, and if we don't transform how you're tackling this exam, your mental mindset about this process in the first 30 days, then I don't deserve your money and I want you to ask for a refund. So there's also, again, the moderated study group. So I'm in the study group all day long, answering questions, deleting things that aren't relevant, and so forth. So it's a moderated group, which is very unique to the industry. And I also have a crack team of CPA exam experts who are available 24/7 for you. So if this sounds like something that would be very valuable to you, then I strongly urge you to apply over at mycpamentor.com. We'd love to have you in the community. I know we can help you crack the code to passing the CPA exam. Hey, future CPA, thanks for listening. Before you head out, be sure to check out ucegmarket.com. It's the only place where you can bundle a CPA exam mentorship program with your favorite CPA review course. If you are in the market to invest in a CPA review course, make sure you can bundle it with Ultimate CPA Exam Guide and save hundreds of dollars. Learn all the details at ucegmarket.com. See you in the next episode.